If your job search feels harder than the headlines say it should be, you are probably not imagining it. UK vacancies have fallen to 707,000, and that is their lowest level in more than 5 years. But just 8 days earlier, we were being told that hiring had turned a corner. Now, those headlines aren't necessarily contradicting each other. They're just showing us very different parts of a job market that is splitting in several different directions. In this briefing, I'm going to help you figure out which side of those splits you might be standing on and what I'd change about your job search as a result. Hello, I'm Sarah Breyer and I've spent more than 20 years inside recruitment. Every week I explain what the jobs market headlines actually mean for your search. This is Recruitment Insider. Why one number never tells you the whole story. 8 days ago, much of the news about the UK jobs market said that hiring had turned a corner. It came from a survey of recruiters. Their review of the market had improved a little bit, but here's the part that most people missed. This week, the official data landed, and it told a little bit of a different story. UK jobs market vacancies fell to 707,000, and that's the lowest number in more than 5 years. Unemployment stayed at 4.9%. Private sector wage growth slowed to 2.8%, and that is the weakest pace in almost 6 years. And I want to be fair here because these reports aren't necessarily disagreeing. The recruiter survey measures what happens during the previous month based on semantic data, what recruiters are seeing and feeling. But the official data measures actual payrolls, actual vacancies. So both can be true at the same time. Recruiter confidence can raise slightly from a very low point, while the real number of jobs can continue to fall. If you read last week's headline, you might have assumed that the market had turned. Then you could look at this week's figures and think, is this the real story? Actually, neither report gives us the whole truth on its own. They measure different things. So my honest reading sits somewhere between the two, although at the moment I'd say it's closer to caution than popping open the champers. Talking of champers, Fraser's Group bought Harvey Nichols this week. What would Eddie and Patsy say, huh? The split behind the hiring intentions number. There's a similar pattern in this week's CIPD survey of employer hiring plans. First glance, the overall figure looks like slightly good news. The proportion of employers planning to recruit rose from 60% to 63%. But let's look at where that increase has come from. Almost all of it came from the public sector. Public sector hiring intentions rose from 70 to 77%. Private sector hiring intentions, meanwhile, are stuck at a record low outside the pandemic. Only 57% of private sector employers say that they plan to recruit during the next 3 months. And it's a very different picture. If you're searching in the private sector and it feels harder than the headlines suggest, it's not necessarily because you're doing something wrong. The data here is telling us that private sector hiring really is more difficult right now. The AI paradox. Now, this is a story I think that matters most for where you are going to be pointing your search. A survey of 1,200 UK businesses found that 54%, so that's more than half, said AI had created new jobs in their company. A quarter said they were hiring more people with AI skills, and a fifth have created dedicated AI artificial intelligence roles. It's a good number. We should take that seriously, but there's another part to this. During the same week, Morrison's put up 200 head office jobs at risk in Bradford. It named AI and automation directly as the reason. That came on top of around 100 jobs it's already cut as part of a related restructure. Those cuts already affected commercial, marketing, HR, supply chain, and some technical roles. And both stories appeared within the same 7 days. AI is creating some jobs, but it's also removing others. And that can happen within the same economy, during the same month, sometimes even in the same company. The mistake here is treating AI and jobs as if it is one simple story. It isn't. The same survey behind that 54% figure also found that hiring for roles exposed to AI, like software development, consultancy, have fallen sharply since 2022. It's happening even while the headline figure for AI job creation looks healthy. So asking whether AI is good or bad for jobs in general is not going to give you a useful answer. Ask a more specific question. At the employers you're targeting, which teams and types of work are being protected and invested in? Which ones are being reduced and automated? This week gave us a live example of both things appearing in the same set of headlines. So, what should you actually do with all of this stuff this week? I would focus on three things. Firstly, stop treating one report, survey, or headline as the full picture of the jobs market. I say it every week, but no single figure is going to count everything. Hidden opportunities aren't properly reflected either. And I've heard 4 people that are in my sprint and my connections that have got jobs by networking alone this week. Secondly, if you're looking for work in the private sector, don't measure your search against public sector hiring figures. They're behaving like such different markets at the moment. And comparing that with wrong bits of the market is going to knock your confidence for no good reason. Thirdly, don't write off an employer or bet everything on one simply because they talk about AI. Find out what AI means inside that particular company. What areas is it invested in? What jobs is it changing? Which work is it trying to automate? That's the version of the AI question that's useful to your search. So here's my honest reading of the week. Once the official figures landed, the case for calling this a recovery have become weaker, not stronger, unfortunately. But asking whether the whole market is simply up or down isn't the most useful question at the moment. The market is splitting, public against private sector, roles being created through AI against roles being cut because of AI. Your job this week is to work out which side of those splits you're standing on and whether your search is reflecting what is actually happening there. Now, if you found this useful, please like and subscribe. It's what the kids say, right? It genuinely helps more job seekers find this channel and just understand what's going on behind the scenes. And here's my question for you this week. Has your employer or a company that you're applying to used AI as a reason for creating a role or cutting one? And did the explanation match exactly what you saw happening? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Sarah Breyer. Be good. And if you can't be good, don't put it on LinkedIn.